Please join me, Yael Calhoun of Green Tree Yoga, for part 1 of the Building Safety with Trauma-Informed Yoga Train the Trainer program. This PowerPoint includes a yoga break for you and opportunities to then use scripts to practice together. Handouts have been provided for your reference. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk writes that trauma is about losing one's way in the world. So let's consider some ways to rebuild connections and strengthen the tools to choose a direction. Part 1 is organized around these 4 points. What is the Building Safety program? How and why are simple yoga and mindful breathing effective tools? Opportunities to practice, and what are the benefits for clients, for patients, and for self-care. Part 2 discusses simple ways to make any program, whether a 5-minute yoga break or your healthcare practice or workplace, more trauma-informed. It is important to know that trauma-informed does not mean you are informed about someone's personal trauma. To be trauma-informed is to be informed about trauma. What does that mean? It means you are informed about some effects of trauma, possible physical, emotional, and mental challenges. It means you have considered some simple strategies to make your program and your workspace more trauma-informed. There are basic principles based in science that trauma experts tell us can be useful guides as we work with those in trauma recovery and help them build resiliency skills. The opportunity is to offer the most benefit you can, whether a 3-minute break in a clinical setting or a longer yoga session in another part of your program. The Building Safety program has been presented nationally and at global summits. It was exciting to share this program at the 68th United Nations Civil Society Conference. Building safety is part of the Green Tree approach. The 3 key principles of this approach are building safety, supporting empowerment, and maintaining simplicity. The foundational works of these researchers and authors explore the science of movement, breathing, the brain's ability to change, and trauma recovery. These books are referenced throughout this training to show how they have shaped the Building Safety program. A reference list is part of your support materials. This program provides the basis for my 2 books, Building Safety with Trauma-Informed Yoga, a practical guide for teachers and clinicians, and Trauma-Informed Yoga for Pain Management, a practical manual for simple stretching, gentle strengthening, and mindful breathing. In addition, I was a contributing editor to the Yoga Service Council's book, Best Practices for Yoga with Veterans. Dr. Peter Levine, who has devoted his life to trauma research and writing, says that trauma can be transformed or prevented. Keep in mind that transforming and preventing trauma is based on body physiology. We will circle back to this idea. Part of preventing trauma is building resiliency skills. To be resilient means that when bad things do happen, someone can bounce back. This training provides simple tools to help build resiliency skills. Transforming trauma, another piece of the trauma puzzle, involves recovery. Dr. Pat Ogden offers an important observation. We cannot change what happened, but we can create new associations within that memory. Creating new associations happens at the cellular level. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk offers a guiding principle for trauma recovery. The single most important issue for traumatized people is to find a sense of safety in their own bodies. With these words as a guide, The following overview outlines where we are going with this training. We want to consider how trauma-informed yoga can be a tool to experience the body as a safe place, use awareness of the breath and the body as a way to stay present, learn to self-regulate using breath and movement and activating the social engagement system, learn to feel the body, learn to tolerate bodily sensations, and become better able to process language and to learn. Yoga is a way to yoke or to connect the body and the mind using the breath. A common question: is yoga only meditation? Consider what Dr. John Kabat-Zinn told Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. I think it is malpractice to practice meditation without doing yoga for people with trauma. What does that mean? It means that if, as many experts agree, trauma is stored in the nonverbal part of the brain, a trauma recovery program needs to have a body-based component. I was inspired by the somatically based research of Drs. Pat Ogden, Peter Levine, and Bessel van der Kolk to explain why using the body had to be a key in the Green Tree Yoga approach. With this training, I hope to inspire you to use simple body-based tools to begin trauma recovery and to practice resiliency skills. Another common question: is there a right size, shape, or ability for practicing yoga? It has been said that if you are conscious and breathing, you can practice yoga. It's of note that yoga can be a complementary tool to medication. Certainly, there are times when a pharmacological approach is appropriate. Also of note is that many medications for trauma-related issues are designed to treat symptoms, not causes. Another consideration as you design your program and look for tools to help your clients or patients is there are many styles of yoga that offer different benefits to different groups at different times. Aerial, yin, hatha, power, and goat yoga are but a few. A body-based, simple flow may be quite helpful. Yet a restorative yoga class in which poses are held for long, quiet periods may not. While well-intended, it is not responsible to say, and I have heard it said, you need to do yoga, it will definitely help. That advice is vague at best and could put someone in a triggering situation. In your support materials is a flyer to share that can help to identify trauma-informed classes. Remember, a name does not make it so. Now, let's talk about science, trauma, and yoga. Reading Dr. John Ratey's book, Spark, provided my aha moment. This book framed the story I wanted to tell. Dr. Ratey asks, why should you care about how your brain works? His answer, your life changes when you have a working knowledge of your brain. It takes guilt out of the equation when you recognize there's a biological basis for certain emotional issues. On the other hand, you won't be left feeling helpless when you see how you can influence that biology. If we acknowledge feelings of shame and guilt as part of trauma challenges, then what can an understanding of the brain offer? We can use these ideas to guide a program to empower someone to influence that biology. It might be enough to know this program is based on peer-reviewed science. Or it might be something you want to know more about now. Or it might be something you want to explore later. The Brain Bonus is a free resource to support efforts to be informed and be inspired. 8 short topics are available in 3 formats to support your learning style. You can watch the brain bonus, you can listen to it, or you can read it. Each section ends with a short yoga break for you. The brain bonus answers these questions. Are we stuck? Why is a sense of safety important? Where does a sense of safety come from? What happened to that sense of safety? How can trauma-informed yoga put it all together and empower someone to get unstuck? Whatever your science connection, let's do a quick introduction. Why? Because science celebrates the possibilities for growth, for change, and for recovery. We are not stuck. We start with the basics. Neurons are nerve cells. Neurons send and receive both sensory and motor signals back and forth between the brain and the body. How are nerve cells sending and receiving signals relevant to trauma? The stresses of trauma, that is, the body being flooded with stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline are examples, can damage or even kill healthy neurons. These changes can directly affect many aspects of physical, emotional, and mental health. The science is fascinating. For example, the health of neurons can affect how someone reacts to stress, how someone thinks or doesn't think, and how someone feels or doesn't feel. Considering how groups of neurons work together brings us to the brain. But again, some of these neurons can be damaged by trauma and stress. Keeping that in mind, let's look at the 3 parts of the triune brain. The reptilian or lizard brain is the seat of instinct and basic survival functions. The limbic system is something you probably work with all day long. It is the seat of emotions and motivation. It is also the first stop for memory formation. The 3rd part of the triune brain is the neocortex. It is the seat of language, thinking, judgment, self-sensing, and reason, to name a few. How much of your brain do you think the neocortex commands? If you guessed 30%, you would be correct. Perhaps your next thought is, well, that means 70% of my brain is not for thinking, but it's for emotion and basic instincts. How is this relevant to trauma recovery? One example comes from a veteran sharing his thoughts for an article on suicide. Something happens over there. You wake up a primal part of your brain you are not supposed to listen to, and it becomes part of you. How does this hijacking happen? Well, it's been shown that experiencing high degrees of stress or trauma can greatly compromise the functions of the neocortex. So what happens over there is that danger signals don't travel to the neocortex for processing and responses. Indeed, split-second, no thought required responses may save lives and prevent injury. But most of us know hypervigilance is not an adaptive way to respond to all things. These ideas bring 2 books front and center. Live Wired, The Inside Story of an Ever-Changing Brain by Dr. David Eagleman, and The Brain's Way of Healing by Dr. Norman Doidge. These books are both accessible and even entertaining resources explaining how the brain can rewire. Our brain's ability to heal and to change is called neuroplasticity. This ability is what allows someone to recover from past traumas and to learn more adaptive ways of handling life as it comes along. And keep in mind that learning new ways of responding is the key to trauma recovery and to building resiliency skills. And yes, it's body physiology happening at the cellular level. Let's build resiliency skills using a short break from the opening practice. The suggestion is to look away from the screen. Anything we practice today, you can do standing or seated if that is more comfortable. When you are ready, stretch one arm to the side or overhead, fingers stretched wide in the tip-to-toe stretch. Then stretch the other arm either to the side or overhead, fingers stretched wide. Find your own rhythm as you stretch one arm and then the other. Give yourself time with each stretch. Today, you may like to arc one arm to the side or overhead, and then arc your other arm in a comfortable way. Different days, different stretches. When you are ready, put your hands on your hips. If you like, lift one heel and press on your toes. Then lift the other heel and press on your toes. The suggestion is to practice 2 more sets of toe stretches. Lift one heel and press on your toes. Then lift the other heel and press on your toes. Lift one heel, press on your toes. Then lift the other heel and press on your toes. When you are ready, step your feet apart, hands on your hips, as we practice the wide-legged add-on. The suggestion is to shift from the inside to the outside edges of your feet in any way that is comfortable. Today, you may want to roll from the inside to the outside edges of your feet. You can make each stretch as gentle or as intense as you need today. Keep moving from the inside to the outside edges in any way that is comfortable. When you are ready, move one hip to one side, then move the other hip to the other side, finding your own rhythm as you move from side to side. We move slowly so you can find a better way to move. If you like, keep your hands on your hips as you move. Or today, you may like to arc one arm overhead and then the other. Give yourself time to find your own rhythm as you move from side to side. When you are ready, come back to standing or to sitting tall. When you are ready, gently press one shoulder back, then press the other shoulder back. If you like, put one or both hands over your heart. Put one or both hands over your heart. The suggestion is to practice feel the breath 5 times. Feel the breath in. Feel the breath out. Feel the breath in. Feel the breath out. Always breathe in a comfortable way. Feel the breath in. Feel the breath out. Feel the breath in. Feel the breath out. Feel the breath in. Feel the breath out. If you like, gently move the fingers on one hand or shake that hand. Then gently move the fingers on the other hand or shake that hand. Let your hands be as still as you would like them to be. When you are ready, step your feet apart in a comfortable way. The suggestion as we practice Ring the Bell is to move one arm toward the front and the other arm toward the back. Today you may want to tap your low back, your mid back, and your upper back as you gently create length in your spine. Find your own rhythm as your arms move toward the front and toward the back in your gentle twist. If you like, hold your hands in a new way. Now either ring the bell with an open palm or a closed hand. And again, give yourself time to gently create length in your spine. When you are ready, come back to standing or to sitting tall. Now let's look at why trauma-informed yoga needs to be body-based. Notice these book titles. When the body says no, the body keeps the score, trauma and the body, and in an unspoken voice. How and what we remember is a field of ongoing memory research, but many experts agree that traumatic events are processed without words and stored as images or as sensations in the body or the nonverbal parts of the brain. How can this science guide your trauma-informed program? Consider that talk therapy uses the language part of the brain, making it top-down. Many medications target the nervous system, the sympathetic, the fight or flight or freeze responses, and the parasympathetic, the rest and digest responses. These medications are bottom up. A body-based yoga practice works from the top down, meaning it can reactivate the self-sensing and awareness parts of the neocortex. A body-based yoga practice also works from the bottom up as it affects the nervous system. This science makes a body-based yoga program both top-down and bottom-up. We will circle back to this important idea, but using some yoga breaks in a talk therapy or a clinical session can calm the nervous system, so someone may be more open to processing language and more open to what you are offering. The foundational work of Dr. Stephen Porges on the polyvagal theory brings these ideas into sharper focus. Quite simply, your voice and your facial expressions can signal safety and help someone to self-regulate. Polyvagal theory says that activating the social engagement system can then override instinctive or emotional responses. What does that mean? It means these signals of safety from other mammals, a soothing vocal sound or a friendly face, can be calming. Top down, bottom up. Again, more is in the brain bonus. Part 2 discusses how to use trauma-informed teaching strategies to activate someone's social engagement system. But you have even more simple tools to help clients, patients, and yourself to create feelings of safety and to self-regulate. Let's talk about something that is always there for everyone and always ready to use. Let's talk about the breath. When someone nervously said, "Am I doing breathing right?" I knew I had failed. I was teaching breath work as I had been taught, so I hadn't thought about it. But how you teach breathing can either empower someone to self-regulate or trigger a stress response. If you like, let's experience some breath science. Begin to practice longer breaths in if that is comfortable today. Now, a signal is being sent from your heart to your brain that your heart rate is slowing. In a healthy system, a new signal now is being sent from your brainstem back to your heart, so your heart beats faster and harder. This means you don't feel faint. That fact is why longer breaths in can be energizing. Okay, so what does a longer, deeper breath out do? If you like, begin to practice longer, deeper breaths out if that is comfortable today. The signals now being sent from your heart to your brainstem are that your system does not need as much oxygen. So your heart rate slows and your blood pressure goes down. That fact is why deeper, longer breaths out can be calming. What just happened? With a few breath cycles, you managed your nervous system bottom up. One note on breath work. It's important to know that for some, either breathing pattern can be agitating. Telling someone how to breathe or how it should make them feel is not a good look on a trauma-informed teacher. We offer suggestions. Much more on the how-to is in part 2. With that in mind, let's practice sharing yoga breaks with each other. The suggestion is to practice the trauma-informed script number 1 without adding words, without adding reasons, without rushing, without adding words, she said again. One person teaches to the other and then switch. Another option is to record yourself following the suggestions on your script. Now let's go around so everyone can share one thing they noticed about using the scripts. I noticed that. Now let's consider the many benefits of trauma-informed yoga. You may notice how these benefits overlap to create a wonderful synergy. Let's start with the benefit of critical importance, your health and your well-being. Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen has devoted her life to teaching self-care for medical professionals. She wrote that you cannot walk through water without getting wet. In other words, your work affects you. The effect is called vicarious trauma or compassion fatigue. Be confident that both practicing and sharing yoga breaks can be part of your self-care. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk identifies 3 tools for limbic therapy, that is, restoring adaptive emotional responses: breath, movement, and rhythm. As we discuss the benefits of trauma-informed yoga, notice how breath, movement, and rhythm run through each part of the yoga practice. A primary benefit is that yoga can help someone, including you, to develop tools to self-regulate. A veteran's written comment after one class: I can finally feel my breathing. I could not before. It feels really good. Someone can experience feeling safe in their bodies when they experience being able to manage their feeling state. A 3rd grader wrote, yoga makes me feel safe and not scared because yoga is fun, and I feel scared a lot. A feeling of safety means someone is more able to pay attention and to learn. It's body physiology. A student wrote, yoga makes me feel happy, calm, and focused. I am ready to learn. A trauma-informed yoga practice builds body awareness. As Dr. Pat Ogden advises, Use the body as an entry point to addressing emotions and cognitions. Again, trauma experts tell us that a strong starting point to trauma recovery is to begin with a body-based approach. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk notes how trauma treatments are changing. The real advance in trauma treatment is we know you cannot change irrational, organic responses from your body except by becoming deeply involved in yourself, noticing your internal world. What does that mean? It means the emotional and instinctive responses held in the body can be managed by building body awareness. Dr. Moshe Feldenkrais commented that you can't do what you want until you know what you are doing. Give yourself a moment to think about how that statement underscores the importance of body awareness in trauma recovery, in taking control of one's life. In the late 1800s, Dr. Pierre Genet said, "Trauma is a disease of not being able to be present." By becoming involved with their internal world using body and breath awareness, someone can experience being present, meaning feeling that this is now, not the past. This awareness can reactivate someone's sense of time. Again, this is now. I can feel the floor. I can feel my leg muscles. I can feel my breath. So this body and breath awareness supports developing self-regulation skills and feelings of safety. From this point, someone can expand their window of tolerance. Dr. Daniel Siegel's term for the time before someone shuts down or experiences panic. These comments are from veterans with PTSD diagnoses, written after our trauma-informed yoga class. After only one class, a woman wrote, "It was calming and relaxing to get out of the house." She also wrote, "New environment equals more anxiety, discomfort." Another veteran wrote, "I enjoyed this new yoga experience. I never thought I would, but it has been enjoyable." Another comment, "I enjoyed the freedom to experience feelings in my body and emotions." Yoga can build social connections, a #1 protective factor in trauma, vicarious trauma, and compassion fatigue. Dr. Judith Herman, a pioneer in trauma treatment, wrote, "The guiding principle of recovery is restoring a sense of power and control to the survivor." Trauma-informed yoga provides opportunities to practice making choices and to feel some control. Part 2 outlines ideas on creating these opportunities. Let's consider how movement plays into trauma recovery and building resiliency skills. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk wrote that yoga organizes your attentional system into specific movements and postures and keeps you away from the free-floating residue that comes up when you do meditation. Dr. John Rady wrote, "Exercise gives people control and stress inoculation." What do these ideas mean? They mean someone can experience the feeling of moving through stress and discomfort. Dr. Rady explains that stress inoculation describes the changes in our neurons that allow us to become better at handling stress. Yes, again, it's body physiology. To review, movement provides a way to practice a new, more organized, more adaptive response to stress. We practice, then we learn. Practicing yoga can also connect someone with their somatic, that is, body-based resources. Think about how overwhelming something can feel when you are sick or quite tired. But when you are feeling better, it's a new you facing the challenge. A written comment. Awesome class. I feel I can handle anything that happens on the way home. Practicing yoga supports experiencing personal rhythms and connections with oneself and with others through movement and breath work. Now let's practice a break from script number 2 to experience more movement linked to breath work. And again, the suggestion is to read the script as written, without adding words, without adding reasons, without rushing, without adding words, she said yet again. One person teaches to the other, then switch. Now let's go around so everyone can share one thing they noticed about using this script. I noticed that. The closing suggestion is during the 2 or 3 weeks before you watch part 2, practice sharing the short breaks from the scripts. Some quick ways to practice. Record the audio of one short break. Practice the break as you listen. Make your changes and record again. Ask someone to practice the recorded break with you. Thank them for their comments. These practice scripts are available in your support materials as MP3s, MP4s, and handouts to use and to share. In part 2, we will practice more breaks and discuss simple ideas on how to make whatever you do more trauma-informed. Before we end part 1, let's go around one more time. If you like, share one way you're going to practice these breaks with clients or patients during the coming week. It may also spark an idea for someone else. Then share one way you might use the breaks during the coming week for self-care.